Now we come to the vital part of this whole electoral process, and that is the enactment of the National Initiative for Democracy. This is the enactment of what you're doing with this piece of legislation. The enactment by the people. This is Section 7. Coincidentally, this ties in to Article 7 of our Constitution, which is the enactment section of the Constitution. That's the creation section of the Constitution. And that's where it said that when 9 conventions of 9 states ratify our Constitution, it becomes the law of those 9 states. That's the self-enactment part of the Constitution that created our government. Because prior to that, there was no, because you had the Confederation, and it took, any changes took unanimous approval of those 13 states. And so now this violated, our Constitution violated every one of those 13 state sovereign governments. And so it's a self-enacting. And so this is the same thing. We're using the precedent of Article 7 of the Constitution of the United States. We're using a different procedure because well, not a different procedure. We're using the same procedure. We're using a different technology. The technology we have today is fantastic. We can ask every single American, do you want to be empowered to make laws? We don't have to go to conventions. We don't have to go to the Congress. We can go right around the government and ask the American citizen, who is individually sovereign and as a constituency can act in a majoritarian fashion. So we can ask you, do you want to become a lawmaker? Do you want to be able to vote on all of the issues that affect your lives? Do you want to come into the operations of government as a partner with your elected officials? We don't want to get rid of representative government. We've got a lot of experience. We have a lot of qualified people who hold public office, and they can do a better job if we, the people, will turn around and establish the policies that we want directly. That's what's at hand here. So now how do we do that? It's not rocket science. All we do is we develop a ballot. And that's what we have here in Section 7. Under A, we have a ballot. We've got the voter's name, just like any ballot when you normally go vote. We just copy all the details of a ballot, and you just fill it out, and you vote. And now, since this vote is over a period of time, we fix it so you can change your vote if you want to, and you can change it back. And now, if you die before this vote is complete, we have to be able to take your name out of the final tally. And if you're 15 when you vote and you become of age and you register, then we have to make sure that you're a registered voter. So you begin to see it's a little more complicated, but not that much more complicated to the whole process. So after the ballot is there and included, then we count the votes. We determine, now this is where it gets better than any election conducted by any government in American history or any government in the world. We will turn around, and here too we need to get the resources. We can't do that right now. But as we, now keep in mind the standard. We've got the standard here, and that is we have to have the majority of the number of people who voted in the last presidential election closest to the date that we declare the election completed. Right now, that is in excess of 60 million Americans that have to vote in the affirmative for the national initiative. I say in the affirmative because you can go to the website right now, nationalinitiative.us, and you can vote against the national initiative, and some do. We have almost 20% of the people who go to the website who vote against the national initiative. So we have to have in the affirmative more than 50% of the people who voted in the closest presidential election to when we declare the election complete. Now, that is a lot of people. Now, stop and think, when we have to go out and contact all of these people and ask them, did you vote? Not how you voted, but did you vote in this election? And if they say yes, then we ask them for an electronic signature or a snail mail signature so that we have a concrete record that they voted, so that there is no question over the transparency and the legitimacy of this election. Now, because when the rubber hits the road on this election, that is, when we declare that this is the law of the land and ask the Congress to appropriate the money for the Electoral Trust to come into being, and for the Electoral Trust to appropriate the money to begin to register the American constituency for life, that, of course, is when this comes into being. This is the explanation of the National Initiative for Democracy. I hope it's been helpful to you. Thank you.